Welcome to My Child, My Voice Parent Connection Show. I'm Wendy Gonzalez-Neal.
And I am Shea Mackin. How's everybody today?
Woo! You know, today's a great day. Today's Monday, August 31st.
I had to remember it was Monday. Really, all of my weekends, my days of the week are.
I think everybody's like that. We're getting days. What's today again? I'm glad on the show I say today's Monday. And we're live in Texas. I am so excited today, and I know you are too, Shea, to talk about the importance of, voting. And we're going to bring in what I call my second familia, the National Parent Union Every Family Votes Committee. But it is going to be a really huge topic because right now, with everything going on with voting and the presidential candidates, it's a lot going on right now.
Well, it's people are, I think, feeling more empowered and understanding, hopefully, the need for their voice to be heard, right? And understanding that maybe politicians don't know what their voice is, and so trying to find somebody who represents their voice is really important right now.
Yeah, the community, we need to have our voices heard, especially from parents like us, everyday parents. We need to have our voices heard. And I know recently there's been articles, especially floating around over here in Texas. The Secretary of State Ruth Hughes put a halt on sending mail-in ballot applications to all voters in Harris County, which is probably about what they're saying 2.7 million registered voters, according to Holly Hansen. She's a writer from the Texan. Today, Harris County was given a deadline to halt plans on sending those information to the voters. But I like the plans that they're wanting to do, because I know a lot of people are really very, they don't want to go to the polling places. They rather do mail-in ballots. And they had a plan that was COVID safe. So you need to check out that article that's been published out there by the Texan. It's informative of what they're talking about. And I'm curious to know what they're going to do.
Yeah, a good read. It will be very interesting. And it's not just a hot topic, in the great state of Texas. It's a hot topic all over the country.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
But because we don't have a blanket mail-in ballot offering in Texas, this is a year of possible change due to the pandemic. So that'll be very interesting.
And I think that's what a lot of people are wanting. And we'll talk about that more in detail of what Texas, voter options and so forth, and what other states are doing. So we're excited to bring in two guests, our powerhouse moms and education advocates, Tashfira Cosby and Maritza Grady.
And they're going to come over. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
It is Absolutely. So nice. I feel like we're just one big happy familia all together. I love having familia together.
It's true. We are. And we love being here talking to you ladies.
Especially about something we're very passionate about, which is the importance of voting.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think we are at 65 days until the presidential election effective today. So I've been trying to keep this count in my head so I know how many days we have left. So when we talk to people, we stress the urgency of making sure that people not only register to vote, but that they actually go and cast that ballot or put that ballot in the mail, vote by mail.
Yep. Very, very true.
A lot of days.
So Maritza and Tacho, I'll let Maritza go first. Tell us a little bit about you for those of us that don't know you.
Well, I reside in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm a mother of 6, wife, sister, aunt, friend, cousin. I am an education advocate, have been so for a number of years. I have had children in public district and charter, private schools as well. So I've seen every aspect of it. Being Latina, I've got to see both sides, from someone that is non-English speaking as also English speaking, with regards to the struggles that parents go through. Right now, we're in the midst of starting school. In the school district of Philadelphia, school is going to start on Wednesday. So there are a lot of parents that still have many, many questions. There are a lot of parents that still do not have access to Wi-Fi, still don't even have the technology, the Chromebooks even needed. So right now, the push is to get all these children all the materials that they need. And right now, the big push is getting families to register to vote. Very, very important.
That is so true. And Tafshir, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm from New Jersey, from Newark, the best city in the world. Sorry, guys. I'm a mom of 3 adult children. So I have survived my children through adulthood, and we have survived each other. I am a grandmother of 3 wonderful, awesome grandbabies who I don't get to see often, but when I do see them, we're cuddly, and they get way more snacks than my kids ever got when they were younger. I am an education advocate, a family advocate. I've been doing that job for 30 years since I had my first child. While I no longer have children directly in the system, all the children in the city, all the children in the state are my children. I look out for them. I help parents to raise their voice with my organization, Parent Impact. I'm the co-CEO of that organization. And we work to provide resources and opportunities where families are partners and leaders in their children's schools and communities. I'm also the co-chair of the Every Family Votes Committee. I'm so excited. Voting is my passion. I can talk about it all day, every day, to anybody who'll listen. I am a passionate voter who has continued to flex my voting muscle my entire life. My first vote was actually when I was 19. I think I voted for Bill Clinton the first time. So I've been voting for that really dates me, but I've been voting for a very, very, very long time. I love to talk about people voting, people registering to vote. I love to talk about being able to vote for people who can. And I especially love to talk about the new campaign that we have going through National Parents Union, which is Every Family Votes. Every single person in the family should be registering to vote and getting out there flexing their voting muscle. So that's a little bit about me.
That's very true. And you can tell that she's very passionate as much as we're always like, yes, she's our cheerleader to get us all going.
I love it. I love it.
And then Marisa, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yes, the importance of everyone making sure that they fill out their 2020 census. Many people do not realize that this also is going to affect our representation. For every person, I can give an example in the city of Philadelphia that is counted, that equates to $21,000 over the next 10 years. That's going to help with a myriad of things from school lunches, Pell Grants, the infrastructure as far as our roads and street and highways, public transportation, things that have to do with senior citizens as far as their Medicaid or Medicare. Everything that it all ties in, and people that are refusing to open those doors when doors are being knocked, they're missing out on an opportunity of getting everyone counted. So it's also very important that everyone, if you have not done so, it doesn't have to be a paper mail-in. You can do it on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet. You can call on the phone as well, but if someone knocks on your door from the Census Bureau, it literally only takes 10 minutes to fill out the questionnaire. So please do so. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
No, thank you for making sure that we filled that out.
Yeah.
I know I did. Check.
Absolutely. Absolutely. New Jersey, we got an email from the governor this morning. We are 1% away from where we were in 2010. So let's get that push out there. 1% away from the number we were 10 years ago. So let's keep this push going for the U.S. Census.
That's good. Good. And knowing that it really does affect your everyday life. I remember in high school in Central California being in a migrant worker town, and my friends' families not filling out the census because they were scared of what would be found out about who lived at their home and things like that. But it really affected our small town. We didn't get the things that our small town needed because we had many more people in our town than were counted. Yes. And so we didn't, and now I think there's a little bit more of an awareness And the town has grown so much, and I'm seeing so much more infrastructure. I mean, I used to have to run across the highway to get to the high school in the fog.
Wow.
And now there's like an underpass that kind of goes under the city. And that only happened because the state and the federal government found out how many people really were living in my town. And so, especially if you speak another language, getting out there and talking to your people about the importance of it, because so much of this is just in English. And that was not okay in my town. And so I remember in high school talking with my friends, and they would go home and talk with their parents so that they could kind of try and convince them of things. But it came better from somebody their own age, right? It came better from parent to parent than from the kids, because then it seemed new age or something to these parents. And that had been a thing since I remember talking with my sister's grandma Avila from back in the 1920s, being afraid of filling out the census. And so definitely get out there and speak with your families and with your community about the importance of the census and of voting, for sure.
And that's a great way to start it off. Of, you know, how did National Parent Union and us, a group here, Maritza and Tashfir, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, my Texas accent comes out. How we came up with the name of Every Family Votes. And I think it goes back to, you know, what our goals is, what is the mission of our campaign. So, right. Tashfir, Maritza, you want to jump in and kind of explain that a little bit before I can jump in?
Yeah. So really the mission of our campaign, you know, our neighbors, our communities, our country, we're all made stronger when every family votes. So this is why we are activating our powerful network of delegates and our powerful networks of people who watch our shows and connect with us online, and also meet with us. You know, a lot of us are still grassroots, so meet with us in the street or have conversations with us. We want to activate our powerful network within the National Parents Union, and also partner with other national organizations around the country who are working to get voters registered, who are spreading the word in their communities, and who are really enforcing and making sure that families are out here casting that all too important ballot. So again, we know the importance of voting, and we know that it's important for every single person in a family to vote. We also know the importance of families having conversations surrounding voting, right? You do it at your dinner table, your breakfast table, when you're out at the park talking. Just really talk about the politics, you know, of voting. Get to the bottom of who's running, find out more about them, find out what they're about, see if they have your best interest at heart. I'm all for voting, but I'm definitely all for voter education as well. Because people shouldn't just be blindly out here voting for someone. They hear them say like one soundbite and they're like, oh, like that registered to me, let me vote for that person. No, you should do your homework, you should do your research, you should be talking to other people, and you should absolutely make sure that you are, like I always say, flexing that voting muscle. Don't just vote in the national elections. Vote in your state elections, vote in your local elections, because your local elections is where people are being voted into office who are making individual decisions for your town, for your block, for your city, for your neighborhood, for your community. So that goes a long way. I absolutely believe that all politics are local, because that's where it starts. It begins in your town, making sure that you vote for the people who have your best interests at heart. And while we always talk about, you know, the popular vote nationally and the electoral college, if someone in your town loses by one vote, they lose by one vote. If they win by one vote, they win by one vote, right? It's not that large machine that's making that decision in your town. It's the individual people who go out and vote. I vote for everything in my town, mayor, councilperson, dog catcher, like whatever it is someone's running for, I'm voting for it. And I also want to make sure that my family is flexing that same muscle. Every single election, every single time, every family votes.
Yeah, and it's so, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wendy.
No. I'll just say I was agreeing with it. So true. Go ahead, Maritza.
Yeah, but and also we want people to just shake off that sense of my vote's not going to count. Every single person's vote is going to count. I'm purposeful in telling younger people, your vote does count. Once you turn 18, your vote will absolutely count when it matters. Make your voices heard. Make it be a family tradition within your family. Go as a family. Go in groups. Talk to your neighbors. There are a lot of people right now, because of this pandemic thing, are very, very afraid of going to a polling location. Find out where the correct polling station is, because one of the strategies is to try to close down certain locations so that people can't get to them. Find out ahead of time where those locations are. Find out ahead of time your neighbors and friends that aren't able to easily even go to the post offices. They don't trust putting things in the mailbox. Find out where that electoral office is, where you can go take a bag full or a trunk full of people that mailed out ballots and take it in person if you can. We're going to need this to happen because there's a lot of people out there that are afraid. They're going to think it's not going to count, that it's going to get tossed in the trash. No, make sure your vote is counted. If you're able to go to a polling location, wear a mask, be socially distant, be prepared to wait a little bit. In Pennsylvania, we had our mid-years back in June. It would normally take me no longer than 5 minutes to walk in and out of my polling location. My polling location was closed this time around, and I had to go to another one, and my wait may have been about 45 minutes as a result, because there were more people and we had to be socially distanced. So be prepared for all possible scenarios come this November, and get to know the deadline date for either for mail-in and registration in your particular state. That's very important as well.
And
Absolutely.
That is so correct. I mean, we are here to change the narrative of my vote doesn't matter, because I was one of those people, right? I was one that felt, and I had a dad that was very active, where my mom wasn't, but that's because she wasn't a citizen of the United States. And she felt like she didn't have a voice. So my dad made her realize you can do something just because. Later on, she winded up being, she registered to vote, and then she started being active. So there's so much that you can do and change that narrative that my vote doesn't matter, because your vote does matter. And it does start at home. It starts with your family. It starts with your kids. If you can't, your kids can. And then that's the important. It's our right. It's our privilege to vote, right? To have our voices heard from our communities, to make change. We can do this together as long, if we can just get out the vote, right? And so this is where we're going to talk about why this campaign is why we're pushing it so much. And we made it easier for a lot of families in communities like in Texas and, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, wherever you're at. We are making it easier for everybody to get educated on voting, right? It's like Maritza was bringing up about knowing the deadlines, your state deadlines, when to register to vote. When is actually ours was extended for early voting here in Texas. I mean, knowing those things, where do I go? Where do I get this information? So Every Family Votes has created a toolkit on National Parent Union's website. And I think Shea is going to share that, and she's going to show us the website where it shows the toolkit. So everybody can kind of walk through that. And then I think, Maritza and Tashfir can kind of walk through us about the toolkit.
All right. Can y'all see this?
That's
Yes, good. I always have to ask. Make sure y'all see what I see.
We can see it.
That's our fantastic logo.
That's an awesome logo. And Wendy even has an awesome shirt and a button. And I know that Tashfir has a sticker. And my button's in the mail.
See my button?
So up here, if you just go to regular nationalparentsunion.org, the homepage. How about I do that? I'll go to the homepage so y'all can see where I found it. So this is the homepage. This is the original page. Beautiful. And then it's up here on the right, Every Family Votes. So you click on there. Every Family Votes. Your vote, your voice, your future. And then if you scroll down, click here to download the toolkit. So then you can download that toolkit. Do you want me to click it?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So
that's it.
That's the toolkit. They've 19 pages worth of information. It's awesome. All right. So this, remember, we are a nonpartisan voter election. And this is adapted from the Minnesota Voice. So yay them.
Yes.
Awesome job. Here's some beautiful families.
Yes, some of our beautiful NPU family members with their families.
Yes. All right.
Out voting. Oh, we got to fix that picture.
I know. I know this little kid, this little young man here, his little Spencer's face is covered up right there. But so there's your table of contents. So they made it very easy for you to find exactly what you want. And I'll just kind of scroll through and y'all shout out when you want me to stop and talk about stuff.
So the tool really just gives an opportunity for grassroots organizations or other organizations to learn more about how you get started with doing a campaign for voting. How do you get started doing a GOTV campaign, like how to actually get out the vote, how to talk to people about things like Wendy said, knowing where you're supposed to go to vote, knowing what your state has set up for you to vote. Like in the state of New Jersey, we have 4 options. We can vote by mail, put our vote by mail ballot back in the mail. We can drop our ballot in a ballot box that's located around our town. We can go to the actual polling location and vote. And we can also go to our county clerk and drop off our vote by mail ballot. So we have lots of different options. So the toolkit really provides information for people, voter education, how do you get out the vote campaigns, and how do you do them in a nonpartisan way. And by that we mean we are not loyal, right, to one party or another. We are not saying you have to vote for X person in your town. What we're saying is get yourself educated, know what the opportunities that are in your city to vote are, and then how do you actually go and vote? Like what does it look like to actually go and exercise your vote? So that's part of what the toolkit offers. It has things like we see here, like things you don't do as a voter when you're doing a nonpartisan campaign. You can't talk about a particular candidate. You can't solicit money from people from voting. You can't give people presents for voting, right? Voting is free. Nobody has to pay for a ballot, right? You should be paying for a ballot. You can't coordinate activities with a candidate. You really just urge people to go out and make sure that they cast their ballot. So like we said, this is grassroots organizations. This is organizations who are already set up. And also this is for organizations who don't normally do get out the vote campaigns, right? We have a lot of organizations who do this in their community, but this could be for a small business who wants to organize people to go and vote, right? They don't normally do anything like get out the vote, but it's an opportunity for them to learn how to execute a campaign on getting out the vote in their town, in their community, for their neighbors, for their people who come into their store, for their customers. So we just think it's a great toolkit for people to be able to use to help.
That's so true, everything you said here, but it also works great for just an everyday parent who wants to have something like this in their child's school, or, now with the COVID cooties, you can do it virtually, right? But it gives you a guidance of the do's and don'ts, and it's all written there for you, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? It's like, how do I start this? How do I start the conversation? Or what if I just want to talk to my elected officials? Where do they stand? What are their issues? Are their issues agreeing to what our issues are in our community because they're our elected officials? So that's what this is a guide for everyone. And not, it's great for these organizations as well, but also parents who are wanting to do this. Maybe in a mom's group, you want to have these conversations. Well, how do I have this conversation, when a lot of people kind of slew away when it comes to politics, but it's important because it actually makes a difference when it comes to education, when it comes to policy. Your voice can be heard, but we need to get more people registered to vote and to vote on these issues, right? And knowing what those candidates are talking about, those are the questions. When I first started, I was clueless until, somebody, my dad would remind me, but it took somebody outside my family to say, you're complaining about all of these issues in your child's school and in the community, then do something about it, And I became a registered voter. And then I realized I had more power than I thought. And that's what this toolkit is doing. It's giving you a power to do more in your community. whether it be a nonprofit organization or an individual. And Shea, what do you think of the toolkit?
I think it's good. I think it really kind of spells it out for, I haven't been involved in a grassroots organization that was doing this, other than me just, you know, talking amongst my own family and my own friends and, you know, the youth that I know that were getting close to voting age or now of voting age, about the importance of it. And so I like how it kind of spells everything out for you. To remember that we're in America, right? And we're not in another country where we're trying, you know, we're trying to be that bipartisan, where we're not trying to convince someone of our stance, but just trying to let them know, get your thoughts out there and make sure you're finding out who these people are that are up for election, and making sure that your voice is heard. So I like it a lot as I was looking through it the other night.
It's your voice, your vote. That's how we have to look at this.
Yep.
You are the decision maker. You know, so many people have been dissuaded, like Wendy said, about saying, oh, my vote doesn't count, oh, my vote doesn't matter. It absolutely does, especially when you're talking about local politics. We're talking a lot about policing policies now. We're talking a lot about social justice now. The way to get those things changed and the way to take action in your community is to vote locally. Or if you're so inclined and you want to, you know, you think you have something that the community needs from you, then run for office, right? A lot of people always ask me, you know, I have a lot of young people that I talk to about voting, and a lot of them, their first question is always, well, what if you don't like what the person who you elected says, or what if they don't vote your way, right? What if you want them to vote one way, but they don't vote the way that the majority of people vote? And my answer to them is vote them out. Vote them out, or run for office yourself. Like take their place. If you feel like you're someone who can do that, absolutely take their place.
And it's really a great start, because I've known some parents who started out that way that actually started off on a school board and then worked their way up into politics because they didn't like what they were seeing in the community. They wanted to do more and change more. I mean, this is how it all starts. Don't think
Absolutely.
you can't. You can't, you know. Right.
And sometimes you think that, you know, politicians are in it for power. That's what you hear, you know, on the news or on movies or whatever. But the more you get to know about them and their stance on things, and you go to, you know, these forums where they're speaking, many of them, especially your local people, are really servant minded and have a servant heart. And they're wanting to know what is it that the people, right, their constituents want, so that they can enact.
Okay.
Did I freeze?
For a sec.
Sorry about that.
But this is also a good tool to use for those people that haven't had the benefit of having a civics class.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many of us can say that our own children had civics in high school or junior high school? I mean, I had it when I was in high school, but my children didn't have a civics class. And this is just a segue into being able to explain that to our young people, what the process looks like or how it is to start. And you can start using this toolkit to have that conversation with your families, with your friends that haven't had that, you know, that benefit of having that while they were in school. And also this can help in allowing us to, you know, demand that it gets implemented back into the school curriculum. Because if this was to happen, if we had that, there will be better informed people by the time it became a voting age, if they fully understood what this was all about.
Absolutely.
Yes, I heard just today that people who are 45 years and younger, most of them in America, civics was taken out for them in high school. Yep. So those that are, you know, closer to the age of 50 and up are much more aware of the laws and how that all works in our country, compared to someone, I'm right on the cusp of that. It'll be like in a couple months. So I'm like,
there.
okay. So then my sister and my
I'm
younger
knocking.
siblings probably didn't have it. I know in Texas, they've been working at getting it back in, but that's just in Texas. So it's really good. It's
Yeah,
good.
we need to have it all around the country. I know in Newark, we've just executed a program last year for high school students to get more involved in civics. It's only in the Newark public schools right now. We need to have it in all the schools, the public schools, the charter schools, the private schools. We definitely need to make sure that we're having more conversations with our youth. And I have to go. Sorry, this is so great, you guys. I can stay all day. But the final thing I have to say is that we know that parents and families have the power to change the conversation and politics around education reform and innovation. A robust national parent movement, which defines a powerful parent and family agenda, will create the change that our families desperately need. And we know that the agenda and the initiative that we've created, Every Family Votes, is part of that piece that we need to make sure that families are having this conversation, getting the education that they need. And also, as parents, we just want to make sure that our voices are being heard, that your voices are being heard, and that every family votes. So please go out and vote. We also have our swag on our site. This is a sticker. You can put it in your cars, you can put it in your notebooks, on your laptops. Check us out, National Parents Union. There's a link to buy swag. We have masks, tote bags, t-shirts, everything you need. Spread the word, download our toolkit, and by all means, please go out and cast that ballot. Thank you, ladies. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for having me on, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you for joining us, Tess.
Thank you. Bye.
I really liked the idea of the swag because I thought, it'll start the conversation. At least in Texas, we talk to each other in the grocery store line. We say, that is a thing. Now, I grew up in California. That's not a thing.
Texas, California. I have to say, I could wear some shirt, and if I wear this shirt, everybody would be like, Every Family Votes? What does that mean? And you can start.
Yes, and people will ask you. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, this is what I love about the campaign, because it, like Maritza, you were mentioning, it educates you. And it even reminds us, the ones that haven't been, doing this for a while, and then all of a sudden, yes, I remember. Yes, what are the voting options here? Why is it important to vote? Telling people this, and it makes a big difference. And these are everyday people. Like, I'll run into people in the grocery store, or even changing things like, Shea, you were mentioning how, the voting options are changing now, especially with the COVID cooties, right? That's something that you can talk about with the elected officials and say, where do you stand on that? There's a lot of people that don't want to go to the polling, to vote because of this. How are we changing this in Texas? Or, like Maritza, you were bringing the same thing, talking about how people are going in, do the COVID cootie, where they can do social distancing, but it's educating, right?
Yeah.
And just knowing that there's a lot of states out there that are doing a lot more than others. I know, like, Maritza, what do you know in your state? What are they doing that's helping voters?
Well, in the state of Pennsylvania, the governor actually, they submitted something to the Supreme Court in the state of Pennsylvania to extend the time frame for a person to be able to to mail in their ballot. For the vote to be counted right now, it's the deadline, I believe, is October 27th to be able to mail it in. But I would err on the side of caution and actually get it in by the 15th of October, just to make sure it's counted. And like I said before, talk collectively with, if you're a block captain, if you're a part of any kind of neighborhood organization, talk to your neighbors, ask them, how are you getting your vote counted? Are you going to try to go to the polling place? If not, what are you going to be doing? Do we want to pick a couple of days? Let's pick a Saturday in September and then another Saturday in October where we collect everyone's ballots, those that requested a mail-in ballot, and take it to our elections office, take it to the polling place so they can have it all in bulk. I'm quite sure everybody's seen, there have been so many videos out there trying to scare people and telling them, on reasons why they should not mail in their ballot. There's a reason behind that. There are certain powers that be that do not want our voices heard. They don't want our votes counted. And just like Tapshire said, you can miss by one vote or you can win by one vote. I would hate for things not to change as a result of a couple of missing votes. For every person that says, I don't want to vote, or I'm not going to do it, it's a vote for the alternate. And that's what we don't want. We're trying to affect change. We want things to improve. We want equity across the board. We want social justice. We want better education. We're giving you some tools to help everyone make an informed decision on how to go about doing it. And I think the key is going to be making sure if you're not registered, to register.
Right.
Go on your state's voting website, find out what your status is. Because, you know, every single time a person goes ahead and says, I'm going to renew my driver's license, every single time they do that, a couple of things happen. They're asking you, do you want to register to vote? And they're also putting you in the pool for jury duty. Don't worry about the jury duty pool. You know, people are afraid of that. I don't want to click yes. Don't worry about that part. But make sure you click on, just in case you don't remember, if you got to renew your license or renew your registration, click on that option to register you again and have that card available. If you're not a long-time voter,
Right.
voter suppression is real. So if you're not a long-time voter, and there are situations where it could be the first time you're going into your voting location, they don't know you from Adam. Like, they know who my family is. They know me, they know my husband, they know my sons. They know my sister, they know my mother, because we go for every single election. But it could be a person that's there, a first-time voter, or they had just moved into a particular community. They're not recognized. Have that card. And it's not even a matter of you having a valid ID, but if you have that card, that registration card, that is your proof that you're registered and eligible to vote. And don't be afraid to show it. And if you feel that your vote is being suppressed, if you're being given a runaround, have the information. I have to look it up so we can put it up on the website as well. Have the information so that there are going to be special hotlines established during the day of elections, where if you feel your vote is being suppressed, you can call that number and someone's going to make sure that there's someone at that polling location advocating for you. Because there's going to be a lot of things going on that's going to try to prevent people and discourage people from traveling to the polling locations. That's why I'm very happy that for those states that didn't previously have the right to do it by mail, now have it. It's new in PA. That's why for the mid-years, they tried it out. They're very worried about what's going to happen for the November election, because this state is not used to doing that. For those states that have it firmly established, great, keep on doing what you're doing. But for the newer states that we're still very green on this process, get it done early. Make sure your vote is counted. Don't be discounted. Don't be discouraged. And bring your family to show them, hey, we can all do this together. Go as one family unit. Get all our votes counted. Whomever it is you're going to vote for.
Right.
Just make your vote. For those of us that have family members that in the past may have not been able to vote, I've said this story before. When my mother became a citizen, she immediately started voting. She showed us by example. I vote, my sister votes, my husband votes. We go together. We take our younger children. We bring our child into the little canopy. And they see us pressing a button, and they love getting a little sticker, and we take a picture every year. So whatever you got to do to encourage your families, have a socially distanced block party, and make sure that I'm serious, a socially distanced block party where even if you're in front of your own home, have a block party. Ask people, has everybody on this block voted? And if you didn't, have a voter registration form for them. Show them how to do it. Somebody can have a tablet with the website opened up for their particular, city or state, so they can go ahead and just do it so they can get it done. Let your families and relatives and neighbors know about the deadlines. These are very important times right now, so we need everyone to get involved. Even in the smallest way, we just need everybody to get involved. I'm talking too much, I'm sorry. Get involved.
You are saying and I like that voting block party. That is awesome, especially with the distance learning, distance social distancing. Distance learning, I'm thinking education.
Yeah.
But with the social distancing, I mean, that's great because it starts in your family, it starts in your neighborhood. Start getting people, it's just like Shea was mentioning. If you wear the swag, if you wear, a shirt or a hat or whatever, it gets people talking. It starts to, hey, did you register? Well, I can't register. Oh, well, do you know, what the requirements are in Texas? Maybe somebody that's new to Texas could be different from when they were in another state. Educate them on that. Give them that information.
Right, and there's the vote.org. I just went to it today just to check it out again. And you can look and see if you're registered to vote. You put in your information.
Reminders.
Yes, you are. And it will send you reminders. I loved, and I hadn't noticed it before. It said, are you old? If you're not old enough yet, so you're not 18 yet.
It'll send you a reminder.
It'll send you a little reminder on your 18th birthday and say, happy birthday, register to vote.
Yeah, I did that for my son because he was, luckily his public charter school that he was attending, they actually talked about voting and the importance of voting for the young high school students. And he couldn't wait. And then I told him about, vote.org. It's a national organization. And I had him set up all the information to it to when he was ready to when he can actually register to vote. So it is a great tool to have. And that's on the national. For Texas, we have votetexas.gov here in Texas, which is similar to the vote.org. That's more of a national, but the Texas one is just the same. It gives you great information. But what I like about that one too is the votetexas.gov. It gives you information on the last day to register to vote, which is October 5th, or early voting. When does it start? When does it end? Knowing like your eligibility to vote too. Like, people get confused because I know my son was confused. Like, Mom, do I have to be 18 or 17? It says 17 and a half. What does that mean? It's, those types of information is getting, and that's where you as an everyday parent can educate your own family, like Marita was saying, and even your own community. And we hope that that toolkit will help.
And even people, this one thing I recently found, even those that are that have been reintegrated into society, anyone that was formerly incarcerated, look up according to your state if what is the timeline as far as your eligibility to now vote.
Yeah.
I found out that in the state of Florida, initially it was granted, then it was taken away, then somebody sued, and now it's granted again. So now if you had a record or were formerly incarcerated and a number of years have gone by, you now have the right to vote again.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a very important piece of information. There is a huge segment of society that feels that because they may have had a record in the past, that they don't have that right anymore. Check with your state to make sure, to see whether or not in your state you now have the right to do it, and please exercise your right to vote. Make your vote counted.
Right, and maybe they understood the previous law, but it changed, and when it changed, it wasn't broadcast on every news organization, so you don't know it changed. So don't assume that oh, I can't vote.
Exactly.
Check to see if you can, because maybe the laws have changed.
Yes.
Because I know in Texas, if you're convicted, if you have not been, convicted of a felon, but if you completed your sentence or your probation, you can vote. And a lot of people don't know that.
They don't.
So you got to know your requirements in your state. Read that sentence, what it says, because you're like, oh yeah, I can vote. It's just like my son was saying, do I have to be 17 or do I have to be 18 at this time? Or, just know, the registration rules. Go to those websites like we had mentioned, the national one, or even your local state or city, and find out what those requirements are. But also extend that information to somebody that's new to it, that doesn't think that they can vote. My mom felt the same way. She didn't think she could vote, but my father's like, oh, there's so much things you can do until because she was getting her citizenship. She was like trying to help my father spread the awareness. And it was so true. So by the time she became a citizen, my father, helped her register to vote, and she was so proud of it,
Absolutely. And reach out to anyone that speaks a different language. A lot of people, language has been a barrier. And if you happen to know information that is available in multiple languages, share that with them. Let them know. even if you don't particularly speak that language, but you know what's available to them, say here, share it with them, print it out, send it to them a link via text. If you're friends with them on Facebook, say here, this is some information that can help you and your family and friends that may not fully understand English, but it's available in your language to see and explain the deadlines, your rights to voting, and things you need to know that'll help you spread the word of how important it is to get your vote out.
And even just going to the post office and picking up a voter registration card in a different language, because I know here in Texas, we have different languages, you know, to Mandarin, to Spanish. I mean, you name it, we have it, so that everybody has a chance to vote no matter what language you're able, you know, you can read. They're there to help you. And if it's not, you know, somebody, an everyday parent can also educate you and show you that. I mean, like I said, when I got registered to vote, it was at a fair, at a community fair where somebody made me realize, and mind you, my father was very active, but I just didn't feel like my vote mattered until somebody really like, your mom, tell me what you don't like and what's going on in your kid's school. Tell me what you don't like in your community. Well, guess what? You can make a difference. You can have your voice heard if you're a registered voter. And I'm like, wow, that's very powerful. You know?
Yeah, or even what you do like. I mean, that's how I got into advocacy. There was something I did like, and there was a bill that was going to take it away. And so I was like, whoa, don't change the way I like it.
Shea, you mentioned earlier when I was talking about the census, for some people do not know that the census is also available in 12 different languages.
There you go.
Not just English or Spanish. And if you get it and you don't understand the paper form that you got, there'll be a phone number on the website for the census that you can click on your own language, and they'll put you through to a representative to help you. Even when those enumerators are coming out, if the person that comes to your door doesn't speak your language or your neighbor's language, that enumerator will have a card in front of them that identifies 12 different languages. You just have to point to which one is theirs. And there's a phone number there that person can call right then and there to help translate that conversation to then get the census done. And these are things that are very important. There are a lot of technology is amazing in the fact that there's, with regards to voting and the census for this year and moving forward, it's available in a multitude of languages so that no one can feel that they're being discounted and they're not being represented.
Yeah, and I did it online. So, you know, I had somebody come to the door, but I was like, I already did it online. But I had the option online of what language I wanted to do. It was so easy.
And then I got mine by mail, and I did what Shea did. I did it. Oh, okay, I can do it online. You know, I can. But if you don't have the option, I mean, you always have your phone. You can do it on your phone.
Or the library.
And it's just like, you know, the register to vote. You know, all of this information is at the palm of your hand, whether you have a computer at home, whether you can go to an office, or, you know, you have a cell phone. Or
if it's your parents and they don't have internet or a computer, or they're not computer savvy, right? They're at the age where it's not as easy for them. Go sit, have dinner at mom and dad's house, even if you need to socially distance, but depending on whatever the issue is, you know, wipe it down with Clorox, hand it over. Or talk them through it in the language that you share, you know, whatever it is, help them out so that they can do it.
And with every Family Votes campaign, we are everyday parents. We are actually pledging to stand with you to make sure that every family votes across America. It's not just in a particular state, but we want to activate families. We want communities to vote. So this is the reason why we're pushing this campaign, because we can make a difference. You know, this is where you don't have to have a college degree to do this. No, you can actually vote and make a difference. It doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter anything. It just matters that you can make a change, to have your voices heard, to change the future, or even keep what's even, you know, happening that's good in your community. This is where we're pledging to everyone. We're going to stand with you, to stand together. We hope that you can go to our website at nationalparentsunion.org, go to Every Family Votes, and download our toolkit. It is great. It's easy to follow. And if you have questions, we'll be there to answer that for you. Right, Maritza?
Absolutely. If any parent, any person watching this right now has a question, you know, something having to do with the National Parents Union, info@npunion.org.
Yep.
We'd be happy that we can answer any question. If any parent or organization is interested in being a partner or an ally, you can go onto the National Parents Union website and click on join. We're not asking for any dues. It's, you know, you can get on, you can get more information, become a member. You'd be surprised how many families even knew what National Parents Union was. They're seeing us and they're like, what is that? And they're asking us, and whatever answers I cannot give them at that point in time, I direct them to the website and say, listen, if you need more information than what I can recall at the moment we're talking, go on the website. If you like what you see, please sign up. If you're an organization, please sign up. If we're all like-minded, we all want the same things. We want better education. We want better choices. We want social justice. Just become a part. We're one big, happy family. We don't have to be the best of friends, but we keep it tight with family. Absolutely. When things matter, we're there for each other. It's been shown, and we continue to do that. Ladies, I really appreciate you having me on.
Yes.
I have to go fulfill my census duty and go knock on some doors. People, please open up your doors if I come knocking. Yeah, because it's hard. It's hard, but you know, it's a needed effort. It's a needed job. We need to make sure everyone is counted as far as representation. Thousands of dollars per person are touched by this, and we need to make sure everybody votes as well. Thank you so very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Keep on doing great things with your show.
Same to you. Back at you. Thanks for joining us. You've been
Thank
awesome,
you.
Maritza. I think go have fun with your census.
Yeah.
Open your doors, everybody. She comes knocking. Open. I think we're going to do next is Shea's going to show us our familias, every family vote video really quick to show what we put together from the National Parent Union. And it's also showing information from our mom in chief. So I hope you get to have time to watch this. And so Shea, I'll let you take over from here.
All right. So you can see the video, correct, Wendy?
Yep.
All right, here we go. This is beautiful. Enjoy.
I'm Marisol Quevedo from San Diego, California.
Hello, my name is Maritza Gertie, Pennsylvania delegate for the National Parents Union.
Hi, my name is Wendy, and I'm with the National Parent Union.
Hi, this is Tim from the National Parents Union and father of Max and Dylan.
Hi, this is Carrie Rodriguez, and I'm the president of the National Parents Union. But most importantly, I'm Matthew, Miles, and David's mom. And that's why this family votes.
Why this family votes?
Why this family votes.
We vote for our present. We vote for our future.
My family votes to honor my four grandparents who came to this country to create a better life for themselves and for their future generations.
I want my children to grow up in a country where they have the opportunity to be successful, to be safe, and to lead the lives that they deserve.
Given what's happened over the past 4 years, I'm feeling the urgency to step up and do my part this year more than I ever have before, because my kids can't wait.
We vote because our ancestors
died for the right for us to be able to vote.
I never used to vote.
At first, I didn't vote because I didn't think my vote mattered. And honestly, I really didn't think one vote can make a difference.
Not because I didn't see it as a fundamental right, but I never saw a real change. And I felt like voting was useless. But then I started realizing how many policies
that we want in place so that we can give our children the lives that they deserve
were changed on a regular basis that impacted our children around education.
And education and immigration laws for our Black and brown families.
Whether it comes to our economic conditions, what's happening in our communities, what's happening with immigration, in our education system, all over this country, families need to come together and make sure their voices and their priorities are heard.
In our local, state, and federal elections, we want to make sure that our voices are being heard. In our local elections, we want to make sure that the people we vote in are from the community and know how to solve the problems of our community.
I make sure I know the right dates. Do you know what dates? are important in your city, in your state, to vote.
Started to teach and empower my kids and people in my community that it's our right, it's our privilege to vote, to have our voices heard from our communities.
On our state level, we want to make sure that the people we vote in have the best interests at heart of the families of the entire state, and they're making sure that the state gets what we need.
We've gone through 4 years right now of uncertainty and fear. That's not the kind of lives I want my children to grow up with. I want them to grow up secure and safe.
Together we can solve problems and solutions by voting the people who will represent us.
I started meeting with legislators and finding out what they do and what their beliefs are around our brown and black children.
On a federal level, we want to make sure that the person we're voting in as the President of the United States is there for all the people, all the citizens of the United States of America.
My family votes because our vote is our voice, our vote is change, our vote is protection, our vote is strength, and our vote is power.
By exercising our right to vote at the ballot box. In 2020, we have an unprecedented opportunity to send a strong message to all of our elected officials that the priorities of parents are going to be heard and are going to be listened to by making sure we show up at the polls.
We have elections coming up this year. Absentee ballots should be submitted as soon as possible.
And this is why.
This is why.
And for those reasons,
That's why.
Know your right.
This family is going to vote.
This family votes.
This family votes.
Our family votes.
Vote.
my family will always vote.
Please join us, the National Parents Union, in our campaign for Every Family Votes. Thank you.
For more stories like this, go to www.nationalparentsunion.org.
That is awesome. Oh, that just gives me, chills when I watch our video. And just to kind of let everybody know, we had two special guests from National Parents Union, the Every Family Votes Committee, which also I am the Texas advocate for Every Family Votes. I'm also on that committee, so I'm very proud to be on that committee, and I hope that everyone gets to join into our campaign and make a difference, by voting. And if you can't vote, spread the awareness, spread the information to your family, your friends, your neighbors, or even somebody at a grocery store.
Yep.
And as Maritza was mentioning, tune in on Thursday. She was talking about membership for National Parents Union. I know everybody's been asking, a little bit, can you give us more about it? Guess what? We're going to talk about National Parents Union's membership, who we are, and come join our familia. What is this familia doing? Okay, this is one episode you don't want to miss. We will also have some members from National Parents Union come on the show to talk about membership and who we are, and hopefully that you can join us. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, sending good spirits to from our house to yours. Thank you for tuning in to My Child, My Voice Parent Connection, and we hope to see you on Thursday.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody.
Have a good one.
Okay, you're out.